We've previously discussed firms in two different types of markets. We've discussed perfectly competitive markets, and we've discussed the far other extreme, which is a monopoly market. And now we turn to a type of market that's somewhere in between, and it's called a monopolistically competitive market. Just like it sounds, it has some features of both monopoly and of perfectly competitive markets. So it's a market structure that has many different firms, so that's similar to the competitive market, but products are differentiated. So each firm is selling something maybe similar to others in the market, but not exactly like what anyone else is doing. So they're selling a differentiated product, and in that sense, they have some sort of monopoly power because they're the only one doing exactly what they do. These markets also are characterized by free entry and free exit, which is a market characteristic we discussed with perfect competition, where it's easy to start doing business in these markets and it's easy to stop doing business in these markets. So firms can easily, freely come and go. And in that sense, the markets, again, are like the competitive markets, and unlike the monopoly, where there are some barriers to entry in the monopoly market. So product differentiation, just so we're all on the same page, is the process that firms use to make a product more attractive by contrasting its unique qualities with competing products. So a good example of this is something like the Big Mac, right? So McDonald's and Burger King and Wendy's are all in the same general market. They're all in the burger market, right? Or the fast food market more generally. Each of these entities sells a burger, and so in that sense they compete with one another, but McDonald's is the only one that makes the Big Mac, right? And in that sense, McDonald's has a monopoly over the Big Mac. They compete with other burgers, but they are the only ones who make a burger just like them. And the same for Burger King with the Whopper, same idea, right? So each of these fast food restaurants, they compete with each other in a broad sense, but they each have their differentiated product. So again, just to lay it all out in one place, the differences among the different types of markets that we've looked at so far. Perfectly competitive market has a lot of sellers. Monopolistic competition, a lot of sellers. Monopoly, just one seller. Perfectly competitive market, everyone's selling the same or very similar product. Monopolistic competition, the products are different, they're differentiated. And monopoly, the firm is selling a unique product without any close substitutes. So monopolistic competition, they sell a differentiated product, a unique product, but it has some substitutes. So a Whopper would be a substitute for a Big Mac, though they're not exactly the same. And then the last line here is that in perfectly competitive markets, there's free entry and exit. Monopolistic competition, low barriers to entry and exit, or we really will just say free entry and exit there as well to keep things simple. And in the monopoly market, there are really high barriers to entry and exit. It's hard to break into a monopoly market. So let's return to product differentiation and think about some of the ways that firms differentiate their product. So we've already talked about burgers. So burger restaurants, burger chains differentiate themselves on the style or type of burger that they're selling, right? Clothing is very similar, right? So you can buy a shirt at Walmart or at Target or at TJ Maxx, or you can buy a shirt at Urban Outfitters, right? Each one is a shirt, and in that sense they compete with each other, but the higher end clothing chains, clothing stores, have set themselves apart with a particular style or type. Another way that firms may differentiate their products are location. So gas stations, for example, these are very competitive and in many ways are almost like a perfect competition, but there is some differentiation based on location. Are you the gas station that's right next to the interstate highway, or are you off in the boonies somewhere, right? So these can help differentiate firms that are in close competition. And then quality. So something like Taco Bell versus Moe's, right? The idea is Moe's has differentiated themselves as a chain that sells maybe a higher quality burrito than Taco Bell's burrito. Not to say Taco Bell's burrito is bad. And again, when you think about differentiation, this is just playing to different people's preferences. And there are certain people who have a preference for Taco Bell and others who have a preference for Moe's. But the idea here, so the idea is not that one is better than the other necessarily, but that we're differentiating ourselves. We're different. And so we're going to attract different types of customers.